Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another discussion in the deep woods. I love it back here. Notice the snow on the ground. I know it's wild. Anyway, so my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am here to have a chat with you today about being quietly effective. This can be really hard. It can be really hard because, in anybody's workplace, family, whatever, there is no doubt you will encounter some egos. That's just how it is. Not everybody is there yet. I don't mean it in a better than way either, because we all do things at our own pace, and that's how it goes. As far as being there authentically and, on the authentic path, not everybody is just quite there yet, and many of them, are still sort of locked in to being ego-driven by all the false stuff, because it is tempting. The ego is seductive, it's just looking for the quick fix with approval, people-pleasing, rescuing. That disease to please is a thing. And also not just all that stuff, but being like really reactive, having the need to be right. That is definitely the ego. Even if you are right, that's not the point. The point is that having that need to let somebody know you're right is the ego. The authentic self knows she's right and doesn't have a need to prove it. She's okay just knowing that she knows she's right, and just lets it go. It's more important to be kind than right, as they say. And just the ego also likes to be seen and noticed. So there's somebody gets a chance to do a cool talk at work, or introduce somebody important or something like that, and they steal that stage, even when somebody else may have been better at it, or maybe somebody else knows the person. It would have been more meaningful if that person did it. The false self just takes over. And so that can be very difficult to not stand up to sometimes. We're not saying that it's a never situation. That rarely do absolutes happen in life. Right over here, a woodpecker. That is so cool. Loud. Very cool. Anyway, there are definitely times when we have to, overtly, for justice reasons, like if there's an injustice going on, we overtly have to stand up and say something. There are times like that. Most of the time, however, the more petty, smaller stuff, I got to introduce so-and-so, I got to bring the guest person to work who's well-known or whatever, and it would have been better if it was somebody else who could actually, handle it better, or any of the examples that we said. Better person for the job, the person who had the promotion instead of you would have been better at it. Really, the best way, it's so hard, but the best way to manage the most of its stuff, outside of the big stand-ups, the most of its stuff, is to be what we call quietly effective. Quietly effective. So I'll explain what I mean. As I say, actions speak louder than words. That's what we're talking about. And the whole deal is to keep it on the DL. And because you can't, to be quietly effective is kind of say no to things, or just maybe not show up at something, but not to draw attention. It's the opposite of that. The drawing attention is you're just being just as, they call it passive aggressive, right? Because you're still showing your anger. You're just not saying it, you're showing it. To be quietly effective is really and truly, authentically stepping out of the current. I'm just not taking part of that. But you do the opposite or draw attention to it. Because it's just your absence there, or whatever it is. It might not be that. That's just one example. And not talking about it. Don't tell any, I'm not a big don't tell person in general, because secrets are toxic. But this is different. This is not that. Okay, this is not secrets. This is your authentic self, not proving a point to people, just authentically putting a boundary up for you. There's a difference. There's a big difference in being quietly effective. Oh my gosh, does it make a difference, because it's sort of the classy way to go. And people get it. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, where is she? And, da-da-da. Or how come she didn't sign up for this committee? How come she dipped out of that committee? And with class and elegance and grace, this is the way to do it. Not in a prove a point way, not in a point where everybody's like, oh my God, she must be pissed. If they're all saying that, you're not that quiet. So it has to be quietly effective. And wow, watch things turn around so quickly. I've had to do this, oh gosh, in my life. Occasionally I've worked with lovelies. I've had a really good gig, professionally speaking, really good. And still, even with, there's no such thing as a perfect person, place, or circumstance, right? It just isn't how it goes. So occasionally you do run into the fakies, and with their egos and their need to be important, self-important, and all that stuff, and be noticed, and da-da-da-da. And there are times in my life when I've had to do this. And let me tell you, it hasn't been easy. But wow, does it work. Because here's the thing. People respect strength. People do not respect weakness. And that's just how it is. And when we are quietly effective, you know, again, in a class act sort of way, it makes a big, loud statement from being quiet. It's amazing. And then out of that, I'm crossing a little bit of a mudslide here. Hang tight. Okay, so people will respect you. So it's really respect you want. If you're talking about how you need respect, nobody respects me, and all that's not fair, and nobody, I should have gotten that, and I should have, would have, could have gotten this, and I can't believe it went to his niece again, and that just looks weak and whiny and stupid, and people don't like people like that. People don't like people like that. People like people who are strong, charismatic, even if that's quietly charismatic, and classy. And so stepping out of the current, letting it all go on without, you know, whatever that example is for your life, letting it go on without you in a real, for real quiet way, again, not draw attention quiet way, watch your life unfold. The respect that you are yearning for will happen because you're respecting yourself. By being quietly effective, you're respecting yourself and valuing yourself. And we treat people how to treat us. So there we go. Be quietly effective. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful woods in northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.